Often in my social circles, do I hear people be shocked, astonished, or even so far as revolted or repulsed to hear that I'm actually a Republican. You're a Republican? I'm a constitutional Republican, a libertarian Republican, Jewish Republican, and ardently so. And I'll break it down for people. The Republican Party is actually the party that has historically and philosophically always been for minorities. I'll repeat that. The Republican Party is the party that stands out, that fights for the minority, and that's why I'm a Republican. I hear so many academically minded people, so-called educated people, take a crap on the Republican Party as if the Republican Party has been both philosophically and historically, and just at its core, pro-majority and anti-minority, and nothing could be farther from the truth. The simple question that I now pose to people, which is the key difference between a Democrat and a Republican, is this. If 10 people are marooned on an island or in a room, and 6 of them are men and 4 of them are women, or whatever sex you can imagine in this scenario, and 6 of them elect and vote to rape the other 4, or hurt in some way the other 4, or overtax the other 4, or what have you, or steal from the other 4, is that right? Is that legal? And is it justified? They voted. The 6 voted. The majority had the vote. In a democratic society, in a purely democratic society, that is, whether it's right or wrong is up to the individual. It's an interpretation by the individual. But whether it was legal and whether it was justified, well, 6 people voted. Then what else is there to discuss? So long as the 6, the majority, had the vote, then it must be so. In a constitutional republic, we the people are an aggregate of individuals, and the individuals have the rights. The Bill of Rights is granted to individuals. Human rights are granted to individuals. According to the democratic philosophy, it belongs in the collective, not the individual, but a majority collective. The majority collective can do whatever they want. They can tax, they can steal, they can rob, they can rape, they can enslave, the list goes on. In a constitutional republic, nothing those 6 people do can override the Constitution, with the exception of the built-in measures that the Constitution has to amend itself. We have created a government, and this government gets its power to govern from the consent of the people. Now the fundamental question between Democrats and Republicans is, what is we the people? We the people can either be an aggregate of individuals, the Republican philosophy, or we can be a collective, a majority collective. In a democratic society, the rights lie with the collective. Whatever's good for the collective. Whatever the collective decides goes. If 51% say something, then the majority rules. This is known as mob rule. We can have a discussion about so many political issues, but don't confuse policy positions with the core philosophical vision and values of what it is to be of a political party. For example, and I'll go to the most controversial one off the bat, abortion. We can have that political debate, but to make it seem like Republicans are against women's rights is disingenuous. Because Republicans who are pro-life, I myself am pro-choice, within reason, of course, are looking out for the individual of the unborn child. It's an individual versus an individual, and both of their lives and well-beings are directly linked to one another. That's a discussion that we can have. But if we malign each other and make it seem that one group is inherently anti this or that, well, then we can't have a discussion. And that goes directly into the Democrats' pocket and core philosophy of the majority rules. The Republicans, they still get to have that discussion because we look out for the minority, because the minority still matters. Because the individual, even if it was 330 million against 1, that individual still has rights. But a democratically interpreted constitution is meaningless because the collective will always rule. So, I put it to you. I put to you my scenario. Imagine 10 people in a room or marooned on an island, and that is why I'm a Republican. And that's why I'm ardently a Republican. Let me know what you think.